So today we're going to talk about one of the most crucial parts of a freelancer's work, and that is writing the perfect pitch. One that will get your story noticed and commissioned. So by perfect, I mean effective pitch. First, an effective pitch will get you noticed by story editors and producers from media outlets and networks. And the first thing they'll see is your tentative headline. And it's to be compelling. Now, if you contact the editor via email, that headline will be your subject line. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. And second, an effective pitch gets you commissioned right away. That means you've done all the pertinent research, all the pertinent work prior to writing the pitch. And the proposal is so complete, the editor feels comfortable with greenlighting the project right away. So let's start. When it comes to writing pitches, I always use a template I borrow from storyhunter.com. Now, if you don't know what Storyhunter is or what they do, and you're a freelance journalist or producer, do yourself a favor and check them out. In short, they are a platform, a global network that connects independent producers such as myself with some of the world's biggest networks. I get to pitch directly to editors. Now, whether you're pitching through a platform like this one or via email, the parts of the pitch will be the same. All right, so let's talk about the headline. This is the first impression. Obviously, the first thing an editor will read. Simple. Keep it short, concise. Obviously, one line. Don't get too creative with that. Keep in mind that it's tentative, so don't work too hard to make a masterpiece of a headline. The editor will most likely change it even if it gets commissioned. Ask yourself, would I click on this story? Would I want to read it, watch it? Think about the term clickability. It needs to be attractive enough for someone to want to click on it. So 9 or 10 months ago, I pitched a story to National Geographic about this hot sauce made out of ants in some remote region of the Amazons in Venezuela. So I wanted the title to be catchy. This is what I came up with. Even if a little cheesy, it was effective. Anyone for some hot sauce made out of ants. Next, location. This is very self-explanatory. Where will the story be shot, or at least most of the story? Now, one thing to keep in mind is the editorial interests of the network. Say, for example, Discovery Digital Networks are focusing only on US-based stories. If you're not in the US, you could consider pitching your story to any other network out there who is producing content where you are in the world. Now, story summary. This is the meat of your pitch. A little bit of advice, look for universal stories. By this I mean, why would someone in a faraway country be interested in this story? Say you produce a story in Argentina, why would someone in Japan or China want to watch this story? So if it's too local, how can you make it universal? What angle can you find so that anywhere in the world they can feel the empathy for the story? There can be some sort of connection to your subject, to your theme. So to be practical, what is the story about? What makes it interesting or surprising? Keep it at or under 400 characters. Concise. Remember that editors do not have time to read every single pitch, so help them out. And do your research before writing the pitch. You can't just be general about the piece you want to produce. The editor needs to see that you've done your work and that you're talking specifics. So for example, back to the hot sauce made out of ants story, I did some research and I figured exactly where in the world they produced that hot sauce, what the indigenous name of the hot sauce was, and I even mentioned that the place where they produced the hot sauce is home to some of the oldest rock formations in the world, which is very appealing, especially for National Geographic. Now, the characters. Who are the protagonists? We understand that this is a character-driven piece. What will we see them do? And keep it concise. Again, 400 characters or less. Another piece of advice, contact potential subjects prior to sending the pitch. Don't assume that every expert out there or character you want in your story will want to be a part of it. Once I pitched a story that was approved and I got the green light, but my main subject did not want to be on camera, so I had to retract that pitch. And lastly, don't assume that the editor knows exactly what you're talking about, so I would recommend always including links of publications relevant to the story. That could be anything from Wikipedia, YouTube videos, Google searches, articles from other publications are acceptable. And it's always good to attach 1 to 3 descriptive images. So I ended up producing this piece for National Geographic. It was the first time that I worked with them. Ended up being under 5 minutes. And like I said, see, they changed the title a little bit to Hot Sauce Made with Ants. Would you eat it? So they tweaked it a little bit. So I can only hope that next time that I pitch something to Nat Geo, they'll be acquainted with my style and they'd be happy to work with me. In essence, you have to think about clickability. You have to think about the fact that your editor doesn't always have time to read very long pitches. So make them read it. Make them click on your email, on your proposal. All right, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial or webcast, and I'll see you next time.